All right, Gene Galin here with Coach Armstrong, the wrestling coach of Northwood High School. Just finished up a couple matches here, but before we touch on that, last week I think you went up against Orange and it was a little bit tough.
Yeah, it was really one-sided. We don't match up well against them. Our forfeits, and we were still taking the two forfeits. We got some key wins, but we also lost when we thought we were going to win. So went back in the room on Wednesday, made some adjustments, and you can see the results out here on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a sec, but is there such a good thing as a good loss? And what do you learn from, I mean, Orange is one of the better wrestling programs in the area?
Yeah, they're one of the best between them and Chapel Hill. I mean, they got feeder programs. I mean, we get these guys green in the mat. You know, what we took from Orange was some of the mistakes that we continuously do, and we just build on them. So we fix it in the room, come back out, and hopefully these guys are taking what we're putting in the room and then applying it in the mat.
All right, let's talk about today. You went up against Northern Durham first, and you did very well against them.
Yep, we matched up well. We had some guys that got the pre-match jitters. They didn't go out there and wrestle well. You know, Asher's coming along. He beats that kid any other day but today. So, you know, the matchups were well. I mean, give it to Northern for coming out and putting a team together. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think they took eight forfeits. So.
All right, and the second one was against Southern Alamance, and you did pretty well in that one as well.
Yep, they war gamed us. We don't have the room that they have in the middleweights. One thing that I did take away is that, you know, I had one of my better wrestlers, August, you know, wrestling a very good state qualifier. I think state placer last year, and the outcome wasn't what we were looking for, but it was able to see what I need to tune Evan into in the wrestling room this week and next week, be getting prepared for the regional matches.
All right, and who was your assistant coach today?
That's Coach Jamison Davis. He was my 45-pounder last year. Went to wrestle at Belmont Abbey. Came back, and Chatham County approved me to be my assistant coach for the rest of the year. So, and then real quick, Dean, our heavyweight. Did you see our heavyweight match?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That against Alamance.
Exactly.
Your guys were cheering them on. What was going on there exactly?
So, in the room, he goes by Austin Smith, but we call him Dave. And this was Dave's first match ever. He's never wrestled any JV.
And he's a senior, right?
He is a senior.
Okay.
You know, Gilson went down in the last match, and you know we're fortunate enough to have two good heavyweights to back up Gilson, and you know, and Alex came in and won his first varsity match ever. Couldn't ask for a better win to top out the night for the guys.
And the guy you went against in Southern Alamance, I think he won his first match against Northern Durham. So, I mean, heavyweight, but that guy, I mean, he competed against somebody who was pretty good, didn't he?
Oh, extremely good. So we're really, really happy to see the progress that Alex is putting in the room. And, you know, when you got a state caliber wrestler with Gilson that you're wrestling with every day, you know, it says a lot that they're really learning from each other.
All right, you had six excuse me, hate these masks. You had 6 seniors. It was senior night tonight. Do you want to make a comment about any one of them, or how about all of them?
Yeah, Coach Dave has put together a good team his freshman year, when these kids were freshmen. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to get them last year and watch how they lead in the room. I mean, you'll see William Lake, you know, he's not even wrestling for us, but he's in the room getting the boys better. You know, he took an injury last year. Nate Davis is showing constant progress. You've seen Alex Smith, Jason Schroeder. You know, Jason's he's a couple of lbs heavier than he was last year, so he doesn't fit well in the lineup, but he's out here every day giving his best. And then, you know, can't say enough about Evan Bogus. I mean, you know, that's my rock in that room, state qualifier, and you know, really, really great kid. All 6 of these kids are phenomenal, and they're coachable.
And I noticed during one of the matches, instead of shouting advice, you actually took a turn with your assistant coach and showed the wrestler what kind of move you wanted him to make?
Yes, sir.
Is that like standard operating procedure for you?
I do a lot because sometimes, you know, in the heat of the moment, they're not registering what we're telling them to register and what to do.
Right.
So whenever we got a break in action, we'll show them, and then that, you know, brain, you know, we're just re-triggering in the brain to remember what we're showing in there, and they can see it. And you can see it. I mean, you look at Ian Morrison. I mean, we was doing power half. You know, he had it all night. He just couldn't remember to apply the power half and run it. So, you know, that's the nice thing. The kids are listening to us from the sidelines.
Other thing, fans in the crowd here. I noticed that the Northwood fans seem to be knowledgeable about the sport, and they also seem to be pretty vocal. Any comments about those guys?
Love the fans. I mean, you know, I see a lot of the wrestling moms from last year out here, their dads. You know, I wish we could get more guys, more of the basketball team out here, cross country team, to cheer on their fellow students and, their student athletes. And, we got to do better. We got to, it's a culture thing. We got to get everybody out here and fill these stands.
All right, one last question. You mentioned feeder programs, and I was talking to somebody else. Chatham County doesn't have a feeder program, do they?
Not this year. Last year, Pete Rogers and I had the Chatham Elite kids.
Okay.
So Jason allowed us to have it in the Northwood wrestling room. And this year we went away with it. So most of our kids are going up to Wolfpack up in Raleigh. And hopefully, as time progresses and we can get, a club in here, or hopefully we can get a middle school team going, and then we'll be able to compete with the Chapel Hills and the Oranges, because we'll get them from 6th grade up. So when they get into our rooms in high school, we're not re-showing a double, a single, high crotch, half, reverse halves and stuff like that.
So what's the biggest, and I think most people know, but what are some of the biggest advantages of having a feeder program?
The biggest advantage is that when you get to the high school level, you look at Josh Miller. Josh is coming through a feeder program with raw, and his talent, his skill set's already there. So, I can come into a room and it's not discovery learning. It's not the first time a kid has to worry about picking up a setup or pick up a half. It gives me more time to work on technique and conditioning. And you can see it today. We are not a conditioned team, and we got to get back at it.
Well, I think you mentioned one of the other things too is you had, I think several interviews back, you mentioned COVID pounds. People just with COVID just either didn't keep up with practice or ate more than they needed to.
Yeah, I call them my COVID pounds. Boys came in heavy this year, and we just got to get better. This is a unique year, and we're going to posture them. We're just happy that we got a season. And the
Coach,
kids are having fun.
You seem to be having fun too with the kids, aren't you?
Oh, I love these guys.
Good.
These guys are phenomenal. Senior night, shout out to my wife. She did all the gifts, the flowers for the boys this year, as we did last year. So, like I said, she don't get enough appreciation. She's behind the scenes.
Well, I complimented her on her shoes. She had nice looking shoes, but she said they weren't very comfortable. So she's suffering for the kids.
Exactly, but yeah, like I said, we come out, get 2 wins. We move in next week. I think we got Southern Durham next week at Southern Durham. So we go in and we're away the rest of the season. So we'll see Southern Island again.
Okay.
So,
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gene.